The Preakness is Saturday, May 17th, and the best way to bet is with First Bet. Sign up today with promo code RADIO250 to receive a $250 new customer bonus. You'll unlock a $25 wagering credit for every $100 you bet in your first 60 days, up to a max bonus of $250. That way, no matter who you pick to win the Preakness, your best bet is on First Bet. Head over to firstbet.com to get started and remember to use promo code RADIO250 to claim your sign-up bonus.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Welcome, beautiful people, to the facility. It is a monumental day here in the facility because we are welcoming the one and only Rachel Nichols, NBA savant. Literally a mastermind of the sport for the last only God knows how many years. If you have talked about basketball, Rachel Nichols is synonymous with that word. Literally, I was looking in the dictionary yesterday, Chase, at the definition of basketball, and I saw a picture of Rachel's face.
So did I.
I did.
You pay enough, they'll put that
so much to talk about in the world of sports. How about the Pacers? They're up 3-1. The Knicks, they got a lot going on right now. They look good. In the world of football, a lot to get to as well, but it's a huge basketball day. That's why we got the savant here next to me. Talking about the Knicks, they came from behind yesterday to win the game 4. They look good. Things for Jayson Tatum on the flip side, they don't look so good. Went down yesterday with an undisclosed injury, has an MRI later today. If you ask several athletes, myself included, it does not look good. The way he could not flex his ankle, it's very reminiscent to me, Rachel, 2-5, very reminiscent to me of an Achilles injury. Obviously, Rachel, you've covered the sport for a long time. 2-5 and I, we've been talking about basketball and this series for a long time.
Yeah.
Do you think without Jayson Tatum, because it looks like clearly he will miss the rest of this series, hopefully not much longer, but it appears to be much longer, can the Celtics come back from down 3-1 without JT?
I do not think so at all. No, and also no. And look, I'm going to do a little caveat. We've had some crazy injuries. Steph Curry got hurt. Jayson Tatum got hurt. If someone else unexpectedly, knock on all the wood, gets hurt in this series, then it's a game changer, right? Yeah, but as it looks now with the two teams that are on the floor, last night, Jayson Tatum was by far the best Celtic on the court. We got an uneven game again from Jaylen Brown. Kristaps Porzingis, I mean, I feel bad for whatever virus he has that has lasted at this point months and months, but he is not himself either. Yeah. They need Jayson Tatum to make this team go, and he is not going to be there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Shady and I were arguing about this or discussing it a week ago. Without Jayson Tatum, the Knicks just have a better roster.
Yeah.
Like, if we're just being honest and being very blunt about the situation, we think the Celtics are sitting upon this throne mighty on high. Without Jayson Tatum, if OG Anunoby plays at a quality level, which he did last night, and he also did in Game 1, 29 points, Game 1, 20 points last night, I would suggest the Knicks have a better roster than the Celtics. It's not just like the Knicks are some really hard-working little kid team. No, the Knicks are just a good basketball team. Yeah. Jalen Brunson right now is the best basketball player remaining in this series. I would suggest that Karl Anthony Towns, based upon how Jaylen Brown is playing, is the second best basketball player in this series. Then I would suggest Derek White, based again upon how Jaylen Brown is playing, is the third best basketball player in this series. The Knicks, to me, just have a better team without Jayson Tatum and with Kristaps injured. At full strength, give me the Celtics. But, Shady, I don't know a world where they can come back without JT.
Well, Rachel, first of all, it's a blessing to be here with you.
It is.
Right? I watched for a lot of years, man. You know, sometimes you giving people interviews and my team's losing, and I had to take that. So I want to be here with you. But I'll just say this much, right? I had a little of that you and me because I picked the Celtics to lose this series.
What?
Am I lying?
No, he's not
lying.
He's not lying.
Yeah, I just know matchups, right? And I hate to say I'm always right because I'm always right. But when I look at the game of
you were the only one.
Me and Stephen A. Smith, I guess. Yeah. But the thing is, when I look at
he's never going to pick against the Knicks.
The Celtics and the Knicks, it's just like the matchups. And I think the talented roster, I disagree with Ocho. I think it's the Celtics, right? I just think it's better overall. But one thing about it is, where's the dog at? How do you keep going up by double digits, 20 points, 18 points, 20 points, and then you lose in the fourth quarter? It happens the same time every single game. And to come back without Tatum, you're not going to do that. Because you couldn't do it when he was playing. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So I think right now the Knicks they have it right now. They just have the it factor, right? They have more dog. When you need guys to step up, they're stepping up. And even like a guy, Karl Anthony Towns, he hasn't been playing great, but we have a good team that's led with a good leader like Brunson, oh my God.
Clutch player of the year, Shady.
I got it real quick. His pops, Rick, I want to give you a shout out real quick because a lot of black fathers don't get a lot of credit. Because it's easy to say, you know what, it's too hard for you, step aside. No, because you're not going to be the fastest, the quickest, the tallest, the jump the highest. And you watch him play, he has the most dog on the court. Brunson's a bad man. I think the New York Knicks go to the finals this year for sure.
If Jayson Tatum does not play, is there a world at least, Rachel, where a guy like Jaylen Brown, where a guy like Derek White, where you could get some more from Horford, is there a world where at least the Celtics can push this game to 7?
Yeah, look, I do think that when Game 5 is in Boston, that there could be a win it for Jayson and the crowd and all the stuff. And look, the Knicks, as good as they are, Shady, they're not a team that necessarily can just close.
I agree with that.
In that many games. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Celtics win the next game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're winning 3 in a row. It is hard to beat a team 3 times in a row.
Speaking of the word shock, then, what's the bigger surprise, Shady, in thinking about this question? What's the bigger surprise? Is it the Knicks' dominance, or is it the Celtics' struggle?
Oh, it's the Celtics' struggle, right? And I love what the Knicks are doing. But just think about this pattern, right? So if we blow a lead at home by 20 points, right, and it be in the fourth quarter, the next game, before the game, coach will say, hey, look, we got to finish, right? More effort, got to finish. Cool, we get the message. The same thing happens in Game 1, happens in Game 2. So I'm giving the Knicks a lot of credit because they are finishing strong, and when you need points, they're giving to you. They need stops. You're getting stops, but it's a matter of where's the effort at?
Yeah.
You keep giving up these big points, right? Another thing is last night, the same thing. They were winning the whole game, right? Fourth quarter, it got close. It got tighter. I just think that when you look at teams, you got to be able to finish. And I keep telling you this. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And they haven't been finishing, so I want to give credit to the Knicks, but it's more of a collapse from the Celtics.
You know what I'm surprised by? In sports, Rachel, obviously, I'm sure you heard this term. We said it often in locker rooms about opponents. Some teams are front runners.
Right.
And the Celtics are front runners. And being a front runner is one of the most offensive things you can refer to as another team, because a front runner, when everything is going great for them, it's going great for them. When they are in front, they don't care about anything. They are the bully who only picks on people that are smaller than them. But the moment things start to get tight, that front runner team collapses. And the Celtics, I'm surprised that they're front runners because they have championship experience. They have championship pedigree. They have a championship head coach. But to me, they're front runners. Early on in the game, they throw a punch, and they hope that the Knicks will stay down on the canvas for the rest of the count, but the Knicks never do. Even last game, early they threw a punch. Second quarter, they threw another punch. Third quarter, you still felt like the Celtics were in somewhat control, but the Knicks refused to go away. I can suggest that I'm shocked that the Celtics are struggling in this manner, and I'm shocked that they're acting like front runners. Where do you stand on it?
Well, look, and it wasn't like that last year. Remember the NBA Finals? You know, Jaylen Brown had some amazing last-minute shots. Jayson Tatum has had some great shots late. And that is surprising because, look, what happened in Game 1, where they're down, you know, they're up by 20, and then they let the Knicks come back, you can say, okay, that's a fluke, the shots didn't go in. It happens in Game 2, you can almost convince yourself, okay, this can't happen more times in a row, right? We know how good the Celtics are. When Jayson went out last night, the Knicks were up by 9.
Yeah.
This was not like the turning point in the game. It was about 3 minutes to go. So when it happens for a third time, that's not a fluke anymore. That is a problem with your team. And I do think there's some injury issues here. It's not as simple as they don't put their foot on the gas, in my opinion. I think that Jaylen Brown is still dealing with a wonky knee. Again, this Kristaps Porzingis thing is so strange, guys. He has had this virus for months, and they cannot figure out how to treat him so he doesn't feel this way anymore.
Oh.
And you can see it on the court. He was, you know, even whiter than sheet. What do you got there?
That's a superstar phone.
Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? Yeah, she's here. Yeah, she is here. Okay. I hate to do this, Rachel. The fans want to know, right?
Yeah.
They said superstar to superstar.
Yeah.
Is the Knicks going to the finals?
Ooh.
I'm going to find out right now. No, hold on. I know, hold on.
I think a Knicks-Pacers matchup is going to be so juicy if it falls that way. I think it's going 7 games. I hope Reggie Miller is on the call for every single one of those games, and he and Spike are going back and forth. I give it a flip coin chance.
So Knicks are going to the finals. She didn't answer yet. She's good at TV. She didn't answer yet. We're going to get there, though.
Here's what I would say.
Okay.
The Knicks, if it is Knicks-Pacers, the Knicks will have home court advantage. So game 7, if it comes down to that, will be in the Garden, and that's maybe how you
So
make
she said like a 60% chance. I gotta go, dog. I gotta go.
Speaking of chances and limited chances, the Mavericks had a 1.8% chance. A 1.8% chance of getting the first-round pick in last night's NBA draft lottery. A 1.8% chance. Obviously, it's the Cooper Flagg Sweepstakes. Whoever wins will get the phenom out of Duke. Number 2 on the jerseys, but number 1 overall going to be in the draft. Due to average 27-4 in college. They're going to get Cooper Flagg. The question is this. Obviously, as a native to Dallas, I was shocked, I was elated, all the things. But Dallas fans have gone through a lot of emotional turmoil this season.
That's an understatement.
After Dirk Nowitzki brings us our first championship in 2011, and then he goes on to not win another playoff series, we're graced by Luka Doncic by the end of the 2010s. 2019, if I'm not mistaken, 2018, somewhere around then. Luka takes us to the heaven of heavenlies, goes to the NBA Finals just last year. Then all of a sudden, in shocking fashion, Nico Harrison decides to trade him. But then what never could have happened actually ends up happening. Not only are the Dallas Mavericks in contention for making the playoffs, they simultaneously and in the same year get the number 1 overall pick, and they will end up capturing the flag. So then the question for you, Rachel, can Cooper Flagg make Mavs fans forget about Luka?
No, Mavs fans are not forgetting about Luka. You don't forget about Dirk, right? Just because Luka came along.
Could never.
So obviously Dirk won a title, Luka hadn't, but he was beloved in that city. I don't have to tell you. What this does is it shortens the sting for Mavericks fans, right? So one of the big outrage points for Mavericks fans was you traded away not just someone we loved, but a generational superstar. And teams have gone 10, 15, 20 more years without a generational superstar. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. It's been 45 more years since we had a generational superstar on that team. So the anger was you had this thing that was so rare and you gave it away. Well, you know what? By this incredible stroke of luck, they're getting who could be another one. I wouldn't put him in the Wemby category for me, but he is projected to be an incredible player. He's a two-way player, and that is a huge deal for a team that has said over and over, one of the reasons we traded Luka was he didn't defend.
Yeah. To Rachel's point, you never forget about somebody you love. Never. Never.
We're not talking about your personal life, Shady.
Sports. Oh, yeah. Keep going.
Thank you.
Say, what?
I don't think you forget about somebody you love, but you can stop thinking about them as often.
Yeah.
And I think Cooper Flagg can absolutely make the Mavs stop thinking about Luka, even stop missing Luka if the Mavs win a championship first. And if the Mavericks win more championships than Luka wherever Luka ends up. And now that Cooper Flagg is present, I believe that's possible.
Yeah.
Before Cooper Flagg showed up, I didn't think the Mavs were going to win before Luka, particularly Luka on the Lakers. But with Cooper Flagg in Dallas, now all of a sudden, not only do I think the Mavericks can win before Luka wins, I think the Mavericks can win more than Luka wins.
Ooh.
Because what I'm suggesting now is if you have a team, assuming Kyrie can come back and wants to come back and plays at a high level, and you still have Anthony Davis, I would suggest you still have 2 to 4 more quality years of Anthony Davis. P.J. Washington, whether he gets moved or not, now all of a sudden you're athletic. Now you're young. Now you have size. Now you have length. Now you have position versatility, whether Flagg plays a 3 or 4. Washington has been forced to play the 4, but he can also play the 3. Anthony Davis can play the 4, and he can play the 5. Now you have position flexibility. Now all of a sudden you look at the Dallas Mavericks, and they are a complete basketball team, and they're a young basketball team. You're not going to make the Mavs forget about Dirk, forget about Luka. Absolutely not. Like you can't make me forget about Dirk. But you can stop thinking about Luka as often if Flagg shows up on the scene and makes some noise.
My man.
Talk to me.
Did you see them fans when he came back there? Let me tell you something about sports, right? Players come and go, but the franchise always remains. I don't care who your favorite player is, eventually the fans move on. But there's some dudes, they never do. Luka's one of them. Did you see how they was when he came in there?
Yeah.
I mean, hello? Listen, I love Cooper Flagg. I think he's tremendous. I watched him at Duke. The brother can play defense, offense, can score, can dribble, he can do everything. He ain't Luka.
Of course not.
He ain't Luka.
Of course not.
And I don't think that Mavs roster ain't appealing to me. That ain't that. What you like about it? Anthony Davis comes and goes here and there. He plays well when he wants to. Sometimes he shoot more 3 balls than the point guard. Okay. And then seriously, like there's no bench there.
But here's what I'm suggesting.
What you suggesting?
Right, is
because Luka carried a lot of them teams that didn't have much.
If I'm not mistaken, the Lakers with Luka won 1 more playoff game than the Dallas Mavericks. If I'm not mistaken. The Dallas Mavericks lost.
That's a low bar.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
It's not as though this Lakers Luka team, not to make this a Lakers conversation, but obviously you're well-versed in the Lakers, and Rachel Nichols well-versed in everything. It's not as though the Lakers with Luka are a top 2 team in the NBA right now that the Dallas Mavericks are chasing. The Lakers with Luka got trunched by a Minnesota Timberwolves team that actually looks to some degree vulnerable if Steph Curry were playing. So what I'm suggesting is the delta right now between a Cooper Flagg Dallas Mavericks team that has Kyrie Irving and the Los Angeles Lakers that are aging due to LeBron James, I don't think the gap is all that wide, not to mention last time we saw Anthony Davis on the court, he did give you, I believe it was 38 and 14 or 40 and 14. If you add that AD plus Kyrie plus Flagg, now all of a sudden, I believe the Mavericks and the Lakers are comparable, except the Mavericks are ascending and the Lakers, you could suggest, are descending.
I couldn't disagree more because, well, first of all, you're not having Kyrie for most of next season. And then he's going to be a year older by the time he comes back at full strength. AD is going to be a year older by the time that happens. Cooper Flagg is not going to be what he's going to be his rookie year. Rookies never are, right? So he's still going to be learning and developing and hitting that rookie wall. On the Lakers side, when that trade happened, they said right away, we do not have a complete team, and I agree with them. They did not, at the trade deadline, make a complete team. They had a huge hole in the middle, an Anthony Davis-sized hole in the middle.
That's right.
You still make that trade 15 out of 10 times because you got Luka, and whatever happens to the rest of the year happens, and you have the summer to rebuild. So one thing, we say here in LA is they were, building an airplane while it was still in the air over the last 3 months, but it's this summer that's going to tell you what kind of team this Lakers team is. And a team that has Luka Doncic, that has LeBron James, they're going to get free agents here in L.A.
Come on now.
And also, they do have assets to trade. Austin Reeves could no longer be a Laker by the time we get opening day. They've got some draft picks. So I think they will be able to get help in the middle. I think they will be able to bring in some 3-and-D wings, right? Guys who can defend better than what they have on the court right now. And we're going to have to see what that team is before you can start making comparisons. And even then, I would say the first year Cooper Flagg is there, you're not going to have Kyrie much.
That's my girl. That is my girl. Real quick, because that was a great take. I just want to put a little something on that.
Please.
And then you got a rookie head coach. He ain't going to get better. One thing I know about J.J. Redick, man, he might be a little arrogant sometimes. He might be something, but he a worker, though.
Yeah.
I watched him as a player. He was a superstar in college. He was a good player in the pros, but he was good enough to still start. You know what I'm saying? I watched him on TV. Started out a little shaky, then was really, really good on TV. Then I see him as a head coach. He's going to get better because that's who he is. I just think you got Luka, you can start building a roster. And the superstar thing matters. When I say that as in LeBron James, the Lukas, the Tatums, I want to play for them dudes, right? You think Drew Holiday say, well, let me see if I can. No, I'm coming over there because they got superstars in the making. You think they want to play with Luka? I see they don't have no big. They don't have a big so bad they didn't even play one. If I'm a big and I'm good, why not go over there with Luka? And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a little Luka tax. Yeah, I ain't going to make the max. I'm cool with that because I want to win.
But the dilemma is this.
What's that?
The gap between Luka and the championship has always been Luka. The gap isn't necessarily a big. The gap isn't necessarily LeBron's age. The gap is Luka and his defensive liability, hence why Nico Harrison traded him. So long as Luka is present, you could suggest, at least Nico would have suggested, that they're not winning a championship because Luka is present. Now, you might get to a championship. He showed you that. You will sell all the tickets in the world. I'll show you that. You might do a lot of things. You might galvanize and tantalize and satiate people's appetites with their eyes. But so long as Luka continues to play the game with the lack of defensive urgency, effort, I don't know that the Lakers will be able to win. Again, not to make this a full Lakers and Luka conversation, but Cooper Flagg making the Mavericks forget about Luka is contingent upon Luka not having more success than Dallas. And I don't know, you think the Lakers are that close to success then?
Look, I don't think the problem has been Luka Doncic. I think the problem has been there has not been another superstar next to him.
Wait a second,
there is nobody.
What about Kristaps? What about Brunson?
Kristaps was not playing at the level he was playing. Brunson did not have as big a role, and he was not on the court.
Okay, now that's a great question. That's a great statement, because I would suggest this. It is hard to be a superstar alongside Luka because he gravitates so much of the energy. He takes so many of the shots. He hogs, he's so ball-centric. I don't think it's a coincidence that Brunson became Brunson after he left Luka. I don't think it's a coincidence that Kristaps was Kristaps before Luka and was again Kristaps after Luka. I don't think it's a coincidence that all of these players, they statistically deteriorate, Austin Reeves, this season, once Luka shows up. I don't know if that's coincidence.
It's the kind of superstar, right? So he was playing alongside Kyrie Irving. And by the way, Kyrie Irving, in my mind, one of the best ball handlers ever in the game.
And he got busy,
right?
too, though. And he
right?
got busy last year.
100%. So it's not that he's just playing next to someone. Needs to play next to someone whose strength is defense, right? There's a team out there. You don't know from football, not everyone has to do everything, right? So if you get a superstar next to him who is a strong defender, what LeBron James, frankly, used to be, years ago, that's an unstoppable team. And it just is a matter of, can they do that? And part of it depends on how much money does LeBron James want to take when he re-signs. You said a Luka tax. Is he willing to take a Luka tax? Yeah. How much of an impact would that have on the payroll? I mean, it's a little bit weird because the salary cap's weird, but it's just, it goes into who do they get this summer.
And I think it's like every team has this issue, though, right? You got the main superstar, and I got a guy's a superstar that's not him. I mean, all the teams you look at, the Celtics won a championship last year. And the argument was, who was the best player on the team? Now, if you just ask, like, talent-wise, it's easy, JT. But when you watch the games, if JT's struggling, JB was picking him up.
Right.
The freaking Warriors, right? Even though Jimmy Buckets and Steph, they just got there, it's the same dynamic. Even when they win a championship with Clay, I'm going to play the defensive role. I'm going to score, but it's your team, Steph. So I feel like in the basketball world, that's what you can't win if you don't have another superstar.
But here's what I would suggest, right, to Shady's point.
And LeBron is 40 years old, though.
I think there are certain players that make it easier to play alongside them. I believe Steph Curry. Anybody who's ever played with Steph Curry has been the best version of themselves. Okay. I would suggest, though, that anybody who's ever played with Kevin Durant has not necessarily been the best version of themselves. It's not an indictment on anybody's character. It's just an indictment on how the individual plays the game. If you have played with Luka thus far, you have not been a better version of yourself. Whether you are Kyrie, whether you are JB, whether you are KP, you haven't been a better version of yourself. Now, you could say it's coincidence. You could say it's causation. You could say it's correlation. But to Shady's point, to Rachel's point, I'm fascinated to see if with Luka, he will make those around him even better versions of themselves. Bigs are always better with Luka, just because if you can rim run, he gonna throw the lob. But to Shady's point, Steph Curry, it's different when you play with Steph. Everybody's better. I'm fascinated to see if that will happen.
So let me ask real quick. So when Mikal Bridges was with the Suns, right? He had a particular role. I'm gonna play great defense. I'm gonna shoot the three ball. He goes to the Nets. I'm like, yo, is this the same person? He dribbling behind the back. He doing. I'm thinking like, who is this guy, right? Okay, cool. Now you go to New York Knicks. You see what I'm saying? And like his role is back to I'm playing defense. But then when you need me to score,
exactly right.
Score.
Exactly
so
right.
I say all that to say, like, when you had a special guy like Luka, dog, you take that. And then you find another player to help him out. Like, Brunson takes a lot of shots.
All of them.
But you see what I'm saying? They formed a team that's why I feel like they got rid of Randall because I don't think you know the role, homie. You want to shoot the ball too much. We want Brunson to shoot the ball and have a guy here and there contribute. You get what I'm saying? That's what basketball's all about. That's why it's perfect for our show, dog. And then you throw it to me, and then we got the big dog on the set.
So who shoots the ball too much?
You shoot the ball all the time.
Man.
I'm like, Rachel, I'm in the corner like that. I'm like, Luka. And then when Chase come on, I don't get no shots. I'm just sending picks now. So, and then James Jones, oh my God, Rachel, you know, woo. I mean, he will overtalk you. You say hello, he overtalk you. Sorry about that. But that's a facility.
Shady had to get that off his chest on live television. Hey, we got Rachel here for the next hour with us talking all things basketball. Absolutely brilliant mind. Hey, when we return, Caleb Williams, the schedule has been released. He knows some of his game. Got a huge matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles on primetime. What are the expectations for Caleb Williams as he enters year 2? What a show we got. Don't forget, check us out every day. Fox Sports Channel, Sirius XM. We got Rachel in the building. Woo!
The Preakness is Saturday, May 17th, and the best way to bet is with FirstBet. Sign up today with promo code Radio250 to receive a $250 new customer bonus. You'll unlock a $25 wagering credit for every $100 you bet in your first 60 days, up to a max bonus of $250. That way, no matter who you pick to win the Preakness, your best bet is on FirstBet. Head over to firstbet.com to get started, and remember to use promo code Radio250 to claim your sign-up bonus.
The Bears, they have given They've been given a huge home game next season against the Packers. Week 16 on Fox. So much at stake year 2. Again, Caleb Williams, a phenom. I went on record and said he was the best college quarterback that I have seen, given the nature of new college quarterbacks. Now, we got a quarterback here joining us.
Wait, I'm calling this game. Did you know that?
Ever?
I'm calling this game. Did you know that?
Let's go,
Look at y'all faces. See what I'm saying?
Let's go.
That's why you need me on TV, because y'all faces. Really?
That'd be
No,
awesome.
I'm just joking. Just joking.
I would love to see a running back.
What I meant, Chase, is this. Caleb phenom, Heisman winner. We thought he was going to be the first back-to-back Heisman winner since Archie Griffin, I think, in 1974, 1975. Caleb was that dude. But year 1, he was no dude at all. Did nothing compared to what we thought he was capable of doing. I know Caleb Williams did not live up to his own expectations. Quarterback, talk to me about quarterbacks. You played in Chicago. You played quarterback in Chicago. Nobody better suited to answer this question literally than you. What would success look like for Caleb year 2?
It's got to be the playoffs. Just get to the playoffs. We can talk about individual statistics, touchdown passes, completion percentage, interception, sacks, all that. Look, it's great for us to talk about on TV. It doesn't matter. What matters, if you're a quarterback, can you win games? Can you win games that you're not supposed to? Are you going to win games that you're supposed to? All this matters. And look, I think you just need to throw out Caleb Williams' first year. I don't think you can judge him based on the year that he had, because it was complete disarray in Chicago.
Yeah.
He had 3 different play callers. Well, he had 2 different play callers, 2 head coaches. The offense is constantly changing. They had him under center. They didn't have him in his USC type offense. I get this, but then you bring in Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson knows what an NFL style offense runs. His offense is in Detroit, top 5 in almost every single category. They go out this offseason, and I will go on a limb here saying that I think they had one of the better off seasons of any NFL franchise. And every single move that they did was to surround Caleb Williams with help. You have 3 new offensive linemen, Jonah Jackson, Joe Tooney, coming over from the Chiefs, and Drew Dalman, who's at center, who's now the second highest paid center. You drafted Colston Loveland to pair with Cole Kmet. That 12 personnel is what Ben Johnson has been known for. Okay, you can run the ball, you can throw the ball out of that. And then you draft Luther Burden III out of the University of Missouri. You know I like my Missouri guys. You pair him with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. It all comes down to the quarterback. Yeah. I say that and saying, he has to get over the hump. And the hump doesn't necessarily have to be, you need to throw for 4,000 yards, which a Chicago quarterback has never done, by the way. Or he needs to throw for 30. No. Run the offense. Some games you're going to be throwing the ball 20 times. Some games you're going to have to win and throw it 50 times. Yeah. And I think that's sort of where we need to plug Caleb into, is that quarterback perspective. Just go play quarterback. Forget about all the outside stuff. And I think Ben Johnson is here to help him with that.
I hear you, Chase, and you're the quarterback, so I like to hear what you say. But I gotta listen, man. I need to see it. You had 20 touchdowns last year, right? And I ain't saying I go out there and be a world beater, but it's hard for me to think of Caleb Williams as so great of a player, because I think he's one of the best talents I've ever seen. I just told you this earlier, that when I watched college quarterbacks, I thought he was the best college quarterback I've ever seen. And I've seen the freaking Liners and Vince Youngs, but this dude was amazing. And then he gets to the pros. Now, it's hard to be a rookie. I told you, that's why I don't grade rookies. But, hold on, but I got to see more than that. I got to see some flash of some superstar talent in you. Yeah. So I think you have that. So when other guys, maybe for somebody like Bo Nix, I don't care if you throw for 30 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Just win games and get better. Because I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's nothing special. I think he's just good, right? I think with good coaching, he can be really, really good. Yeah. But when I watch Caleb Williams, man, he's superstar talent. So I need to get 30 touchdowns. I need to see you make them plays, because one thing I know about when you're super talented, I don't care what coach you play for. I don't care what scheme you are. Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Lamars, you put them in any scheme, and you know what's going to happen, Chase? They're going to look good. Now, other schemes, they're going to look greater. Yeah. But when you're really, really good, you can put me anywhere. I was telling Archer that you put me on any team. I don't care who the coach is. You want to play like 1980 or you want to play 2015, I'm going to be LaShawn McCoy because I'm a good player. Caleb Williams, you are a superstar, man. It's time to take off the training wheels and put the big boy helmet on and drive your bike. Yeah. And I ain't talking about a little bike. I'm talking about a motorcycle, homie. Kawasaki. Let me see it. Because the talent that you have, a lot of players will pray for 20 hours in a day to get the talent you have. And they don't got it. I don't care who the coach is, because now you got Ben Johnson, who's really, really good. Yeah. Go out there and show me that talent that we seen in USC.
Incredibly well said. I like both of these takes. I differ in this.
With who?
Both.
Oh.
Because when I think about success, y'all know this at home, I know this in life. Success is subjective, man. Success is relative to everybody else around you. Caleb Williams, success looks like to me being at least the second best quarterback in your class after this season. If I make $100, but Shady and Chase only make 10, I'm successful. But if I make $100 and Shady and Chase make $1 million, I'm not all that successful. My result didn't change, but the results of the people to my left and right around me changed. As a result, that dictated my success. I'll give it to you better in story form. After Herbert's rookie season, Shady and Chase, you at home, we all would have said incredibly successful. 31 passing touchdowns, he was rookie of the year. The other quarterbacks in that class, Burrow, Tua, Hurts, Love combined for 30 touchdowns. And they had 23 starts. We said after Herbert's rookie year, the most successful. But then you fast forward 5 years later, and wait a second, Herbert's not that successful anymore. 105 touchdowns, that's still really good. But now all of a sudden, he ain't got no playoff wins. But how come Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls? Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. Jordan Love has playoff wins. All of a sudden, we got 12 combined playoff wins, and Justin Herbert no longer looks successful compared to his peers. It's not that Justin Herbert's not successful. Chase could quote his statistics off the top of his head more than anything. Justin Herbert, through 5 seasons, I believe has more passing yards than any quarterback in the history of football. Herbert's been successful, but relative to his peers, he has not. So what does that mean for you, Caleb Williams? You better be better than Drake May. You better be better than Bo Nix. You better be better than J.J. McCarthy. If you're not as good as Jaden Daniels, fine. One more person can be better than you. But to me, Chase, I care more about how does Caleb look compared to his peers, because that's what we compare you to.
I couldn't disagree more, though. The NFL is not a popularity contest.
No, but it's a success contest.
That's what I'm saying. The NFL is not subjective. The NFL is about results. And results is not being, oh, you look better than Drake May this week, dog, but you got an L. Or you look better than Caleb, whoever else is in that class, right? It was a stacked class. Michael Penix. No, man, like, I get it. If the Chicago Bears have success and make the playoffs, Caleb Williams is going to have to be successful.
Sure.
I don't think you can have subjectiveness in the NFL when it comes to quarterback plays. You could have all these pretty stats. You could look all that stuff in all this way. But if you don't win, especially in year 2, and you don't make the playoffs, then we're going to start saying, maybe we overhyped him in college.
No,
maybe we set expectations too high for him.
I agree with you. What I'm suggesting is this. If Caleb wins 10 and wins a playoff game, but J.J. McCarthy comes straight off the bench and he wins 11 and he wins 2 playoff games, we are still going to be saying, bro, you got outplayed by J.J.? J.J. went further than you. Y'all in the same class. If Caleb wins 10 and wins a playoff game, but Michael Penix does what Joe Burrow did his second year and leads the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl, we're going to be like, yeah, I mean, Caleb good, but he's not even the 5th best quarterback in his class. Caleb has to do well. But Caleb also has to exceed his peers. He can't just do well. He also has to be better than all them cats around him.
Yeah, I think it's an issue if we get into a measuring stick.
That's the whole NFL, though, That's the whole NFL.
But I'm talking about, you can't worry about how other people are playing because you're so worried. You need to be so locked in at quarter. I'm telling you, from quarterback, you have to be so locked into the process and the day-to-day of the situation of the Chicago Bears. If Caleb lets himself go that way, which maybe he did last year a little bit, and he got confused with all this other stuff happening around, he's never going to be successful. You got to lock in and grind, man. I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, a quarterback is, can you win the ball game? Can you win games? Regardless if J.J. McCarthy does that, I think the Vikings have a much better team, right? That is subjective, but I don't think that's how you should judge him. I think, hey, if the Chicago Bears make the playoffs and Caleb Williams is playing like he should, I will say it's a very successful season for Caleb Williams, regardless of what he throws for. Because as the Chicago Bears go, Caleb Williams will go too.
No Sean Marino, Donald Brown,
Connecticut,
Chris Beanie Wells,
all above you,
and LaShawn McCoy. You telling me that don't matter who got drafted in front of you, and I'm the number 1 pick overall, and I'm the number 1, and they're doing better than me?
Maybe to you.
The NFL, that's what it's made of. Is competing. It's the most competitive sport there is. The best versus the best versus the NFL, the best versus the best. Tom Brady went, I don't know what pick he went. You think he'll know the guys went in front of him? Because he always talks about it. I got to make sure everything counts. That matters. So we both go to the playoffs. We both make it to the playoffs. Cool. I'm the #1 pick, and you, I don't know, what was McCarthy?
10.
10?
It
It ain't the same. This is my thing with Caleb Williams. You gotta be damn good because you was the #1 pick overall. That's how it works. You was the most hyped up in college football. You a Heisman winner. That stuff follows you. It's the reason why Baker Mayfield gets a second chance after second chance after second, because he was what he was in college. And he was the #1 pick.
Yeah.
You can't get away from being the #1 pick. That's one thing. Another thing is you gotta have success. You gotta win games. So all that plays into a factor is who is in your draft class. Because think about this, when we always arguing, we talk about the talent with Herbert. We talk about, Jalen Hurts, not this. But one thing we always go back to, his draft class.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow was Super Bowl, but I won him. You get what I'm saying? If you ask about, who's better out of Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow, most people probably say Joe Burrow because he's more talented. But then when you say, well, hold up, dog. You went before. I was a second-round draft pick. Yeah. You was the high. You was this and third. And I went to Philadelphia, and I went to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years as a starter. So all that matters, though. All that matters.
I agree, 100%. And I think we're talking about two separate things. What you're talking about, internal motivation. For Caleb Williams, because he knows he's got to be better. He knows teams don't care about where you got drafted, big dog. They care about, like J.J. McCarthy didn't even play last year. You lead us to the playoffs, savior. Like, it all matters what you do when you get there. So I agree with Shady, absolutely, because you remember all those guys that went in front of you.
Most people do.
And I remember all those guys that went in front. I was undrafted. And I was outlasted all of them except Stafford. He's pretty good. But you know what I'm saying? So there are certain ways to internalize it as a quarterback, but externally, bro, you just got to do whatever. You have to almost get rid of the superstar status when it comes to Caleb Williams now, because he thought it was one way. Now you have a completely different scheme, a completely different coach. And if you buy into the way Ben Johnson does things, I think they'll be successful.
I'll give you an example, right? And I think you're a quarterback, so you'll appreciate this. I got a chance to go back to the Chiefs with Andy Reid, right? And when I got there, they were already winning championships. That's what they do. Patrick Mahomes was already the best quarterback in football, right? We played the Bears. Bears is, respectfully, we don't really look at the Bears as like a really good organization. They just don't really win. Since I'm in the league, they don't win, okay? And Patrick Mahomes is killing these dudes. I mean, whooping up and down the field, right? We about to come out the game, and guess what he's doing? He's doing it. He's scoring. He's going 1.
I remember that.
I'm thinking like, yo, you know how I am. What the hell is he doing? So I'm asking, I got to find out what's going on. And you know what he said? Yeah, they took, was it Trubisky? Yeah. They took him in front of me. Now, this dude who's been 4,000 yards, 5,000 yards, this guy,
MVP.
MVP of the league, champions, Super MVP, and he's even worried about who was drafted in front of him. And the dude that got drafted in front of him can't play a lick. So you tell me it don't matter? That stuff matters. The same way winning championships and winning games and being a franchise player, also you a competitor. And if I'm a coach or GM, I want a guy that's competitive. Oh, you took him in front of me? You think Jay Daniels ain't thinking about that? All y'all say he was better than me.
Yeah,
that drives you.
And
that makes you a better player.
I agree with that, but success on the field is more important than being more successful than your peers.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe not at running back. Maybe not
even
at linebacker.
Think about this.
Maybe not at receiver.
But think about this, Chase. I think it was the 2003 or 4 draft class. Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers.
Come on now.
Phillip Rivers was successful.
Yeah.
By every metric, he was successful.
That's a good point.
But Eli Manning was better.
2.
Now, Eli might have not been better than Two.
That's why he's going to go in the Hall of Fame.
Rivers was successful. But same draft class, Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers. Alex Smith was successful. At the end of the day, played 13, 14 years in the league, had a devastating injury, came back, went to an NFC championship game, had a 13-3 season, a comeback player of the year, but you was drafted ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, man.
So comparatively, they took Smith ahead of. Truth be told, to me, Chase, Caleb, truth be told, without all this, if you're not better than them, you're not successful. Yeah. If you're not better than them, because at the end of the day, if Caleb does what he does and wins 10 and throws for 4,000, but Jaden goes to the Super Bowl and throws for 5,200, we're going to say, they took Caleb ahead of you? That's just what we do in history.
So, as a quarterback, because you're a quarterback, that don't matter, though? Competing and all that?
I think internal motivation, it does, and that's what I was saying. But I think, you have to take it, where they're, Chicago is, they've gotten their hopes up so much to where they're not expecting anything. I'm telling you, what would success look like for Caleb in year 2? If they make the playoffs, they will anoint him.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
True.
So maybe not league-wide. I'm talking about Chicago, one of the biggest brands and cities. They have been let down time and time. If he throws for 4,000 yards, he'll be the first quarterback in franchise history.
So if the team carries him to the playoffs.
I don't think the team will carry him. I think he has to play.
No, because I'm saying, like, he plays this good.
Yeah, it's how it looks. I agree with you.
Yeah, that's how it looks.
No, I agree, but I don't think he can
man.
get into a measuring stick contest with other.
Shopping is hard.
I can never find anything in my size.
I don't even know my size.
I buy my clothes the same place I buy my groceries.
There's a better way. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Just share your size, style, budget, and done. Your personal stylist sends pieces picked just for you.
That was easy.
Stitch Fix. Online personal styling for everyone. Free shipping and returns. No subscription required. Get started today at stitchfix.com.
Ant-Man, a.k.a. Human Highlight Reel. Last night, he could do it all. From 3, going left, going right, step backs, whatever you wanted.
All
he was
right, okay,
going...
bro. All right.
Sorry,
nice
Warriors fan. Everybody relax. Ant-Man, he did what he does. Now he's got the Warriors against the ropes. Again, Rachel Nichols joining us, one of the most brilliant basketball minds over the last several decades, you could suggest, in history. Rachel, asking you this question, and you can answer it probably better than anybody because you've been covering the sport for a very long time. Are we witnessing Ant become the face of the NBA?
Look, it's not that simple. And I was covering this sport when MJ retired all 3 times, really, actually. So especially when he retired the last time, we heard so much, right? Is it going to be Kobe or Iverson? No one could decide, right? There was a time where Grant Hill, before all the injuries, people thought he was going to be the guy. They were scrounging. Harold Miner, who nobody out there probably remembers, was called Baby Jordan. That was his nickname. You don't know until... Well, there you go.
Let me write his name. What's that name?
Harold Miner. There you go. You don't know until it happens, right? Ant is definitely a candidate. I would say Wemby, we haven't even seen what Wemby is going to be yet. I think Victor Wembanyama is going to be a top 10 player of all time. That is how confident I am. Again, injuries accepted, but that is my projection for him. So if that happens, will he be the face of the league? I mean, there's just no way to tell yet. And what I also have a question for you guys, we live in such a media-splintered world now. It's not like it was when Jordan retired. There's a million voices out there. There's a million opinions. Is there going to be a face of the league in this modern era? I don't know. What do you guys think?
That's a really good question. I'm not convinced, one, because of how saturated media is right now, just in general, right? We have every different app. You have every different streaming service. You also have television. For Ant, though, he's got to win a chip just to start this conversation.
Absolutely.
In my mind.
All of them.
You got to win a chip just in order to enter the dialogue. Now, truth be told, I do not know that anybody's going to be the face, Ant-Man in particular, until Steph Curry's gone, until LeBron James is gone. We like to stick with the current faces until they retire. Once they retire, Ant, if you've checked all of the necessary criteria, then he can be the face. But it's going to take a championship. It's going to take more than a playoff run, 2 playoff runs. It's going to take a championship. But the good thing about Ant 2.5 is at least he's checking off the boxes.
Yes, he is.
He's checking off the boxes. He has the game. He's got the swag. Inner city, they got to want to be you. The CEOs, they got to want to promote you.
Come on now.
And he's checking off all of the necessary boxes. Remember, after he beat the Lakers, he's walking around downtown L.A. interacting with the fans. Like, that's the stuff that you have to be willing to do. That's the stuff you got to be able and capable to do. Checking off the boxes, but he got to win the chip.
This is an easy one for me. Yes, he is. The first thing you said is you got to win a championship. That's no argument can start if you don't win a championship. But I always say this, man, I don't think that a foreign player can be the face of the NBA because as an American, it's an American sport, you got to relate to them. When their season's over with, they don't stay here, they leave. Luka, he's out of there. Jokic, three MVPs, he ain't the face. He gets out of here after the season. Ant-Man is here. Culturally, everybody wants to be Ant-Man. I don't know how many kids y'all got or nephews and whatever, take them to the store and say, what sneakers you want?
Yeah.
They're going to jump there and get Ant-Mans, okay? You talk about the swagger, making everybody want to watch the NBA. Why would you want to watch the NBA for what? Because they're shooting threes. When you watch him, he's shooting threes. He's dunking on you. He's got the competitive nature. He's going head-to-head with LeBron James. People love that. You talk about viewership. Jayson Tatum is a phenomenal player. One of the best resumes as a young player can have. He can't be the face of the NBA.
No.
Because he doesn't have that Ant-Man. He don't have, not saying on the dog, but he don't have that type of swagger. His interviews ain't going to make you laugh. Ain't going to make you chuckle. Ant-Man's give you that. Ant-Man makes everybody want to watch the NBA. And you talk about having the look. Y'all see commercials? He on all the commercials. It's only going to get better. He's still young. All I'm saying is, when you're a young kid, because the young generation really runs the sport, right? That's ones that, Mom, we got to watch the game, or let's go get this. When you watch Ant-Man, every little kid, I don't know what hood y'all go to or neighborhoods, they all screaming Ant-Man. And it's the way he plays the game, and it's the way he acts off the court. He's definitely the face of this league.
Yeah, Julius Randle had a great quote after the game last night. He said, Ant is the brightest star in the room. He just has that it factor. So the guys who play with him know it. There's no doubt. Also, by the way, he already had a great nickname, Ant-Man. He has got a better one now in this playoffs. Kingslayer.
The Kingslayer. I like that.
Right? Took down LeBron James before last season. He took down Kevin Durant, et cetera, et cetera. So I love it. That's great. And by the way, you guys talking about fit in the last segment. Sometimes it depends on what sneaker company you're with. Yeah. Adidas is killing it with the Ant ads. They're so good. That's half the reason people are so excited about them.
Is it more dependent upon what Ant does or what LeBron doesn't do or what Steph doesn't do? In the sense that, like, Ant could win a chip this year. He's still not the face of LeBron's around. Yeah. Ant could win a chip the next 2 years. He's still not the face of LeBron's around. Ant could not win a chip, but let LeBron and Steph suddenly retire. Now we are beckoning and we're desperate for a face. Is it more dependent upon what Ant does in your mind, or is it more dependent upon what the Wemby does, what the LeBron doesn't do, et cetera? What's more dependent on who's the face?
Well, Shady's totally right. Until those guys leave the stage.
You heard that now. Now, you said it there. Every time I see him, I say, you remember you said I was always right?
You want me to say it again? I'll say it again. All right, here we go. Shady was totally right.
That's the GOAT. Come on now.
Until Steph and LeBron leave the league, there's not room for another guy to take their place, because you were talking about years of equity that they've built up. However, once they do leave, it is going to be a little bit of a battle. And I think a foreign player could end up being the face of the league, depending on some of the qualifications, right? So Wemby in particular, first of all, he has a catchy nickname, right? That makes a difference. The way he looks, right? It's just so fast. Like, you cannot take your eyes off him when he is playing. The arms go around, everything. And, swatting shots. Hakeem Olajuwon, right? Dikembe Mutombo made a living off that kind of stuff. He's going to do all of that stuff. I think it progresses. There was a long time when we couldn't imagine a foreign player getting drafted #1 overall. Now there's been a ton of them. There was a long time we couldn't imagine a foreign player being MVP. The last, I think, 5 MVPs have been foreign. And by the way, the 2 guys who are in the running this year are both foreign. Neither one of them was born in America. So I think the sport expands. And I think if the guy doesn't feel foreign in a way that some of these guys do, I think they'll make a difference.
What about this, though? Because, like, one thing I think, in not even this American sports, but this sports in general, we compete.
Yeah.
So when Olympic comes around, right, the face of our league is going against us. Think about how that even sounds.
Oh, France almost won.
But think about that, though.
Last couple Olympics.
The face of the NBA, of the best players in the world, and it's American sport. When we go against France versus America, the face of our league is playing against America.
That's interesting.
That don't even fit right.
Yeah.
And another thing is, I always think about, like, can you relate to the player?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if kids in America can relate to Wemby. He's 7'8".
That's a great point.
Right? And it's like, where you can relate to Ant-Man. You turn Ant-Man on, you can see Ant-Man in any neighborhood in America. Any neighborhood.
Yeah.
Chicago, we talk about the Chicago, Philadelphia, LA, you can see Ant-Man down the street. Is that Ant-Man? No, that's not. But you know what I'm saying? You can't find Wemby everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the last part is the swagger. It's something to be like a great thing now where you can be like that culture type of swagger and real corporations, right?
Yeah.
Like now, even on primetime TV, when you look around there, right, you got the corporate guys, but then you got some of the guys that got a little swagger that makes the show go. You get what I'm saying? And when I look at being the face of the NBA with all these different personalities and people from different places in the world, can I relate to them? And when you turn LeBron James on, you can relate to him. Steph Curry, everybody can relate to Steph Curry, even the mailman. You get what I'm saying? Now Ant-Man is that same guy in rotation. I just think that when LeBron leaves and Steph leaves, the hands and the NBA is going to be in great hands with Ant-Man.
Can I do it again? Can I do it again real quick, camera? Shady's right.
Come on now. Come on now.
That's a great point. And by the way, remember what the Michael Jordan, be like Mike, if I can be like Mike. All right, go ahead.
Because I stick my tongue out, you know what I mean? Big conversation with my MJ.
Just to slap the glass. Just to slap the glass. Hey, when we return, everybody's talking about the injury heard round the world. Jayson Tatum, NBA superstar, out for potentially the count. An MRI has yet to reveal what we all fear, which is the worst, potentially an Achilles injury. Hey, what's that injury mean for the Celtics superstar? Plus the Mavericks, they got the #1 pick. So much to talk about next in the facility.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Injury heard around the sports world yesterday. One of the most significant injuries that one could imagine. Jayson Tatum, an absolute superstar, first-team All-NBA caliber talent, Olympian, a champion. You utter it, he has accomplished it, but you see him gutted, emotional, being wheeled to the locker room after what many believe to be a lower leg, either calf or Achilles type of injury. An injury we saw keep Kevin Durant out for over a year. An injury that we have seen keep Klay Thompson out for a significant period of time. An injury we just saw Dame Lillard suffered. But now we're talking about Jayson Tatum, a superstar, Rachel, but gutted I was when I saw it. What's the injury mean? Not necessarily for the Celtics. We focused on the micro, but let's zoom out to the macro for a moment. Tatum could be the face of the league. On the brink of becoming one of the best players in the NBA, like the best player in the NBA. He's already one of the best. What's the injury mean for JT?
Look, I think it's just so tough. I don't understand the national discourse around Jayson Tatum. I get it. I agree with what Shady said before in the last segment. His personality does not jump off the page. But the idea that he is not an elite basketball player, the rap that people give him, I don't get it. He got to the Celtics, and since then, they have been to the conference finals 5 times in 7 years. They've been to the finals twice. They've won a title. He's been on Olympic teams where, by the way, yeah, he sat one game, but he was also a key part of a lot of other games. If this is all he does, he will have a better resume than many other players who we thought were going to be huge stars. So if this is it, which I don't think it is, it's important to remember that he is an elite player. However, this should not be it. If it is an Achilles, if it's the worst, and he does sit out for a year, then there are questions of how is he going to come back? Is he going to be himself again? Kevin Durant, totally himself. Other guys, not so much, right? Klay has not quite looked like the Klay of old. What kind of team is there going to be around him? That's a huge question because, as you know, a guy can't win if he doesn't have the team around him. And Boston has a lot of decisions to make.
When I first saw the injury, though, Rachel, my first thought was Tatum can't afford this. His legacy can't afford this. The reason I suggest that, not that he won't be a great player, an all-time great, anything like that, he's been disputed as being the best player on his team.
Yep.
When he finally won a championship, I say finally as if it's easy to attain. When he finally won a championship, it was Jaylen Brown that was the best player on that team. You go to the Olympics, it's now the best of the best of the best. And Steve Kerr suggests, hey, some games you're not even worthy of getting minutes. Mm-hmm. Jayson Tatum, for as great as he is, how great is he actually? Because it's never been convinced. I've never just been sure. He's always planted a seed of doubt in my mind. Even this series, before he got hurt, they were down by 9, like you suggested. A team that he should be the best player on the court, but that was disputable because of the way that Jalen Brunson was playing. A team that many suggested would sweep the Knicks. That didn't happen. Now they might get gentlemen swept. As good as Jayson Tatum is, he has never just put his proverbial foot on our necks and asserted his dominance consistently.
Look, he won that title at the age of 26. So we don't know what he would have become without this injury or what he still can become. His career and sort of the way he has progressed, if you just put, and he said this earlier this year, if you just put the stats up against so many other players that we consider, oh, they're a throat on the neck guy, there's nothing there. Right? Jayson Tatum's better. So I just think there's a bit of a misperception, and we'll have to see how bad the injury is.
Well, speaking of needing to see things, I found something most fascinating, conversation I've been looking forward to since last night when I saw it. After the draft lottery and the Mavs, they got the first overall pick, 1.8% chance of getting the first overall pick, but the Mavericks did just that. Now they won the Flagg Sweepstakes. They will acquire Cooper Flagg, a generational caliber of talent. But before I ask your reaction, you posted something on social media that I literally wasn't just captivated by, I was incredibly intrigued by. Hard for me to read, reading it at a distance. But you said, I get it that the draft lottery was, and you know what, I can't read, instituted, discouraged, tanking. But the problem is that the way the CBA is now structured, The only real way teams win and can recover from a bad situation is to strip it all down, tank, and start over again in the draft. I found that incredibly fascinating because the Mavericks, they get the number 1 overall pick. But a team like Charlotte, a team like Washington, teams like the Spurs, who many would have suggested started to tank at the end of the season, they get to watch Dallas get the number 1 overall pick. What's your reaction, and can you just elaborate on those words?
Yeah, I just think the system has changed, and we all need to change with it. There has been a collective bargaining since they first instituted, well, not only the draft lottery, that's been around for a long time, but just flattening the odds and all of that they've done. They have now made it harder for owners to just spend their way out of problems. And that was on purpose, by the way. The owners wanted to protect themselves from themselves, right? Mm-hmm. They have now made it harder to make trades in certain situations, and that was on purpose. They wanted to narrow the lane of how trades could be made. If you do those two things, though, you then have to understand that the draft lottery and the draft has to change. Because as I noted there's not a lot of other ways for teams, especially in small markets where you can't just get all the free agents, to strip it down, start over again. And maybe you gave away some of your own picks in the effort to be better and it didn't work. Maybe Damian Lillard has a terrible injury. No one foresaw that coming. It's not the Bucks' fault. They don't have bad management. But there is going to be a time, if Giannis leaves, they're going to strip that team down. They don't have their own draft pick, first-round draft pick. They don't have a first-round draft pick for the next 6 years.
But I would suggest, Rachel, the NBA has it figured out best, even better than the NFL as it pertains to parity. We might see, for the first time in a long time, a 4 seed and a 5 seed in the Eastern Conference and the Knicks and the Pacers in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. One of them will go to the NBA Finals. In the West, you got a 6 seed going back, likely, Minnesota Timberwolves, assuming they handle business, to the conference finals. If indeed the Nuggets don't win, this will be the 7th straight year we'll have a different team, another team winning. Given the Celtics are likely not going to win, now you're going to have 7 straight years of different champions. Meanwhile, in the NFL, we all think Eagles-Chiefs once again. Yeah. We saw Eagles-Chiefs in 2022. We saw Eagles-Chiefs in 2024. We saw the Chiefs go to 3 straight. Wouldn't you suggest, even with the complexities of the lottery and Cooper Flagg going to the Mavericks, 1.8% chance, doesn't the NBA have the parity situation and the parity dynamic figured out? I would suggest better than all American sports.
Yeah, look, they are very good at this, although you do have to remember, prior to this era you were just talking about, Golden State, it was basically the Golden State Invitational to the finals, and before that it was the LeBron James Invitational to the finals, whatever team he was playing on. So it's not always like that. But yes, there is no question they have this in general more figure out, but that still leaves a lot of markets behind. Yeah. And you don't want a third of your markets in your league. It's not healthy for fans not to have any hope there. You need to keep them believing. So what I would say is, now that you've made changes to the collective bargaining agreement and the way teams operate, I would make changes to the lottery. Don't let the 10th, 11th team be able to get the number 1 pick. Have the lottery be the bottom 5 teams in the league. And then you can have a separate lottery from 6 through 13 or whatever you want to do. But you can only allow movement from so much and so many players. And they got the idea that the Mavericks have 3 Hall of Famers on it. 3. They were in the lottery not because of some great Nico plan. They're in the lottery because Kyrie Irving got hurt. The plan in Dallas was to go try to win the finals this year. So teams like that are that good and will be that good, you need to put them in a separate category.
But that's hard to do, right? I love this conversation, standing here for a moment, because that's sports. I remember when Dak Prescott got drafted, it's not because the Cowboys sucked, it's because Tony Romo got hurt. Yeah. The Cowboys were 15-1 in Tony Romo's previous 16 games. That season, he got hurt in the year before, but he gets hurt, and now the Cowboys get Dak Prescott, get Ezekiel Elliott. They end up still staying relevant for the next 10 years. When the Colts got Andrew Luck, they didn't suck. Peyton Manning got hurt. Yep. Is there a way to preserve the issue that you're fixing? Because, yes, Kyrie got hurt, and the Mavericks made a trade, and Luka started the season hurt, and then you get AD, and AD gets hurt. But isn't that just a part of the nature of sports? Is there actually a way even to try to configure a manner in which these teams that are left behind cannot get left behind?
Well, you're totally right, like Shady McCoy. You are also totally right. And look, it's happened before in the Spurs. David Robinson got hurt for a year, and that's how they got Tim Duncan. And then Robinson came back, and then you had those 2 guys on the team. So there are always exceptions. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. That is true. However, in the big picture, we got to make rules for the big picture, right? We got to make rules for what generally happens. And what has been generally happening since they flattened the lottery odds was the teams that need these guys the most are not getting them. They're not getting even a shot at them. So if we shrunk what the draft lottery was for the bottom 5 teams and maybe evened out all of their odds. Right now, it's the bottom 3 teams where the odds are even. Make it the bottom 5 teams where the odds are even. And that discourages the level of tanking of we got to be the worst in the league. But it still gives those teams a shot.
Very quickly, we saw a seismic shift yesterday with the Mavericks getting the #1 overall pick. That'll move the landscape of the NBA. Before that, we saw a seismic shift when the Mavericks moved Luka. That moved the landscape of the NBA. But now, Giannis Antetokounmpo has said he is open to being moved, which could also move the entire landscape of the NBA. The Giannis conversation, it was intriguing 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It became wildly fascinating and captivating yesterday after not only the Mavericks got the #1 overall pick, but you said even the Spurs got the #2 overall pick. How did that change the Giannis sweepstakes?
That is huge because the Spurs were one of the top 3 teams with enough assets that they could really put together a great package for Giannis. They didn't want to give up their Rookie of the Year, Stephen Castle, though, Stefan Castle. And so now they can say, we'll give you the #2 pick. And the guys in the draft who could go at #2 are very, very good. So you offer the Bucks suddenly your #2 pick, a package of other young players and some other draft picks. You are in the game. And the idea of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Victor Wembanyama playing side by side, no one's scoring on that team. No one. And by the way, Giannis is a Spurs type of player, not personality as much, but in the way of his work ethic, the way he influences younger guys, the spirit of how he approaches the game. There's a lot there that could be a good fit. And by the way, Dallas winning the #1 pick. You know, the jokes were flying last night that he's, Nico's going to trade the #1 overall pick for 2 seconds. The value stuff. But look, they could decide that they're more of an older win-now team, and they want to put together a trade package for Giannis, too. We'll have to see what happens.
Giannis, do you believe, I had this conversation prior to you, but with you being here, I want your insight. Do you believe that Giannis is best suited to stay in Milwaukee, not necessarily from a winning perspective, but you've covered the league long enough to understand some things transcend winning? I was in Dallas, so Dirk Nowitzki, he's a one-teamer, never played anywhere else. That transcended winning. He didn't win another playoff series after we won the championship. I don't care. It doesn't matter. He's still Dirk. Tim Duncan, a one-teamer. Kobe Bryant, a one-teamer. Is Giannis better off going to chase more championships, or will that saturate his legacy as opposed to just staying in Milwaukee, bringing them what they didn't have in 50 years since Kareem, and being a champion and a one-teamer?
Look, it's a different thing if you switch teams. However, I don't think it's going to change Giannis's legacy. I will just say, though, that I agree with you, and there's not that many people out there who have this point of view. But you only get a player like Giannis once in decades, right? I mean, Kareem, you bring up Kareem. You know how long it was between Kareem and Giannis? So if Giannis decides, I want a trade, if he comes to them, you got to deal him. He's been a model player, 12 years, brought you a championship. You got to do the right thing. However, if he doesn't come to you and say that he wants a trade, I think there is a lot of value in keeping him around, even though you can't win. Because guess what? You're not winning with a bunch of draft picks anyway the next few years. It's not happening. So the idea that, we're going to walk to a title, Jayson Tatum got hurt. They were a title favorite. You are never guaranteed of something like that. And if you strip it all down, like we've been talking about, and try to get it through the draft, it might not happen for you. Giannis, is a guy who puts butts in seats that people love, has a great relationship with the city, a lot like Dirk and Dallas. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be rushing to dismantle a Giannis-led Bucks team unless he wants to go, exactly to your point.
Very well said. Hey, well, speaking of building through the drafts, the Cleveland Browns are hoping they did just that when they acquired Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. The general manager and head coach said, hey, we got him at a discount. We didn't think he would still be there. Of course we're going to draft him. But Shedeur Sanders said just within the last 48 hours, he expects to change the Browns' reality over the last 2 decades. He wants to bring them a championship, but can he? That's next from the facility.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
It's time for a team meeting sponsored by Hilton Garden Inn. Hilton for the stay. Shedeur Sanders staying in Cleveland for the next several years, we all hope and expect. Shedeur just showed up in minicamp, had his helmet on, had great practices, many are suggesting, but now he's speaking about the expectations. Take a listen.
Really, I feel like the Browns fans, they just want something to hope for, and they've been wanting it for so long, so finally, I'm here to change that. I'm here to, actually give what they want.
He's here to give them what they want. Everybody knows the Cleveland Browns, they want a championship. I was drafted to Cleveland in 2012. Shout out to the Browns organization. Thank y'all for that. Chase, can Shedeur actually turn the Browns around? Can he do it?
Can you define to me what turning the Browns around is?
Great question. I would say, can he make them consistent playoff contenders?
Yeah, a perennial playoff team. That's exactly what I thought is. And no. And it has more to do with the organizational failure. Shady's shaking his head. But I'm going to give you this stat.
No.
and it's not to be disrespectful. It's more to do with the Cleveland Browns. Okay, the Browns' regular season record since 2000, 139 and 264. They've won 34% of their games. Easily the worst in that span. Oh, the second worst. Sorry, the Jaguars are the worst. And which you don't want to be looped in with the Jaguars. Stop making me laugh. So for context, the Browns have made the playoffs 3 times since the year 2000. 3 times. Okay? They did in 2023 with Joe Flacco. They were 11-6. Flacco played really well down the stretch, was 4-1. They did it with Baker Mayfield in 2020. And then you got to go back to 2002 with Tim Couch to do it. So they've never even made the playoffs in back-to-back years, and Lord knows when. Okay? Back-to-back winning seasons. The last time actually was Bernie Kosar. I say all this, and I give you this context because in this conversation with Shedeur Sanders, context matters. Okay, look at the Browns starting quarterback since 2000. This graphic's crazy. There's 39. Well, in my opinion, Shedeur's a 5th-round pick. Talent-wise, we talked about it, 3rd, 2nd-round pick. To get the opportunity to play is one thing because right now you're 4th on the depth chart, right? And I do think Shedeur's probably going to play this year, and I do think Shedeur might have some success this year. The thing about 5th-round picks is if you don't play well and you don't show some promise, they're moving on. The Cleveland Browns have 2 first-round draft picks next year. So I hope that Shedeur can do it. I'm just saying I don't know if the talent and the will and everything is there to do it with the Cleveland Browns because you have to have teams around you to be successful in the NFL. I don't know if the Cleveland Browns are that right now if Shedeur plays.
2-5. Can Shedeur turn the Browns around?
I mean, I don't think he turned around right away, but I think he has the talent that gets the shot. I think he can. I mean, you showed them players up there, them quarterbacks. Them quarterbacks ain't good. And if they were good when they were younger and they got older, they weren't as good. Like, look at these guys. Come on, man. Who's going on this list?
That's wild.
Who's good? There's nobody on this list that's good. And I know we make it a Browns thing because the Browns haven't been good in a long time, but, like, these quarterbacks are not good. They're not.
Baker Mayfield's good. Deshaun Watson's good.
Deshaun don't count because, I mean, he was great, then he had a lot going on off the field. He couldn't get back from that. Baker Mayfield, I mean, he's been bad everywhere but the Bucs. He's been good for 2 years with the Bucs. So he had a lot of bad years, and he had 2 good years with the Bucs. And a bad division where everybody in that division is bad.
RG3 was there, too.
And I said everybody's not good. Because RG3's not good either. Anyway, I just think that we got to give Shedeur, like, a chance. He's not even a starter yet. And I think when he says give the defense they want, I think they want a really good player that can get the offense going and be a legit quarterback. We haven't seen a real legit quarterback in Browns history in a long, long time. So before we talk about winning games or winning championships or winning division, let's just let him start and be a good quarterback, and then we'll go from there.
I like the take. Can Shedeur turn the Browns around? Can he? I think he can. I think if anybody was suited to, he could, but it would be nearly impossible. And the reason I would suggest that is, at this point, the only thing we can assess based upon Shedeur Sanders is what he's done as his collegiate career. And there have been several quarterbacks who have been drafted to Cleveland that, based upon their collegiate career, weren't just better than Shedeur, were significantly better than Shedeur Sanders. Again, I not only played the college game, obviously I studied the college game. So for every quarterback that Shady McCoy is saying isn't good and hasn't been good in Cleveland, we don't know if Shedeur is yet either. Now, I'll give you the good, I'll give you the bad. The reason I think if anybody can turn Shedeur around, anybody can turn the Browns around, is Shedeur is because he turned around Colorado. Colorado didn't have but one 9-win season since 2002 prior to Shedeur getting there. He turned around Jackson State. Jackson State hadn't won the SWAC since 2007 prior to Shedeur getting there. So Shedeur has turned around programs everywhere he's been. He did it at Jackson State. Okay, move to a bigger league. He did it at Colorado. Okay, now you're moving to the biggest league. Can you do it in the NFL? He's done it, so I would suggest, yeah, he can. But the problem is, like Chase has suggested, is, with all due respect to Shedeur, Couch was better coming out of college. With all due respect to Shedeur, Brady Quinn was better coming out of college. With all due respect to Shedeur, Colt McCoy was better coming out of college. With all due respect to Shedeur, Brandon Whedon was better coming out of college. Johnny Manziel was better coming out of college. Baker Mayfield was better coming out of college. And if none of them were able to do it with what I would suggest some had better teams, I'm hard-pressed to say, based upon all the data I've seen at this point, that Shedeur can do it. Saying it would just be a wishful thinking. And would just be hopeful. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
You play the game and you play college, right? So you can answer this question better than anyone. Why were them guys better than Shedeur?
I think, one, they were better passers. I think they had stronger arms. I think several of them that I listed were more mobile. Johnny Manziel was more mobile. Colt was more mobile. I think some of them were just more pro-ready, playing in more pro-style offenses. Brady Quinn, obviously, he was just played in a pro-style offense. He was weak in the league. Listen, but the thing is, all we know of Shedeur Shady is what we've seen in college.
I'm going to say this. You take them dudes you keep talking about and you put them with Colorado with no running game but no offensive line and see how good they play. See how good they play.
That's such an excuse for Shedeur, guys.
It's the truth.
Yeah,
the problem is, I always say this. If you ask a player about running backs, right, because I'm going to use myself, and you talk about everybody from Alabama, they all are good at Alabama. They all are good, okay? So you get to the pros and see how good they really are. Because now you don't have all-American linemen, all-American wide receivers. You don't have that. Okay, you don't like the running back situation? Cool. You're a quarterback, I go to quarterbacks. Name me a bad quarterback that played for Ohio State in college. Name me one. I'll wait. Can y'all name me one? You can't, because there's none. They all are great. You know why? Because you have the number one player in the country at wide receiver. Okay, on the other side, you got the number two player in the country at wide receiver. Okay, now you got all these all-American linemen. Then on defense, you got the same thing. So we're not going to be a bad team. But then when we get to the pros, you see how good they really are. So I'm going to say it again. I wonder if guys like Justin Fields, all them, I ain't going to put them in it.
Yeah.
All these quarterbacks that play for all these teams that you want to name that's so good, like the Brady Quinns and all that, you put them with the Colorado, the team that won one game before Shedeur Sanders got there, with no running game and no lineman, and see how well they do.
I think it's
see how well they do.
Because it's a hypothetical conversation, but it's also a hypothetical conversation that discredits what so many previous quarterbacks did great. Like, with all due respect, Johnny Manziel did not have a great team around him. He had Mike Evans, Travis Hunter, did also exist with Shedeur. Colt McCoy played on the team that I was there. Offensively, none of the offensive linemen got drafted. The highest drafted receiver was a 5th-round pick or a 3rd-round pick to play 2 years in the league. Again, Shedeur did have Travis Hunter. Brandon Whedon, he had Justin Blackmon. Shedeur had Travis Hunter. I'm not saying that these players are great NFL players, but I can't hypothetically discredit a bunch of great players that exist.
Real quick, Chase. How dare you do that? You're telling me if this scholarship's on the table, we're going to go to either Texas or we're going to go to Colorado. Where are them boys going?
Of course it's going to Texas.
All right, so I don't care if with draft picks, you got better players. You got better recruits, correct?
Correct. But they also did better.
But I'm saying that matters, though. That matters. James Jones sits up all the time. He said he went from San Jose State. That's a little tiny school that nobody knows about. And he said when he went to the combine, all these big-name guys, Alabama, Georgia, all these dudes, he said till we start playing the combine, I said, these dudes ain't that good. But the difference was when you go to a small school, you don't have the type of help.
No. This is a perfect example. Let's go to RG3. Where is Baylor located in Texas?
Waco. Nowhere.
It's the middle of nowhere. He had nobody. He won the Heisman. Baylor has been historically awful, worse than Colorado historically.
Played against them.
Baylor, turned it around with RG3 for a little bit. He won the Heisman. He was he the first?
He was everything.
He was everything.
He was everything.
He flamed out in the National Football League, yes, because of injury, but he started off excellent. I was there on the sideline at RG3's first game. We were like, holy hell. He played against the Saints, tore us up. And Shedeur's not better than RG3, so I just want to know what makes you think that if RG3, with all the talent that he did at Baylor, because that was the whole excuse, you can't use Texas, Baylor's worse than Colorado, what makes you think that Shedeur is going to do something that some of these guys with way more talent couldn't do? That's what I want to know.
Wait, so you tell me that, because I'm going to look this up now. Because I know Baylor had some players, and they had no players.
Baylor.
They had Terrence Williams.
Who?
They had
Corey Coleman. He was there too, right?
Not with Robert. Okay. He wasn't like a starter.
Well,
we
wouldn't waste time on that because I could look that up. I just think that Baylor has probably better players than Colorado. I watched Colorado games. I watched them. We went up there to watch them in person.
What makes you think it's going to be different for Shedeur with RG3 when he did less?
I didn't ever think RG3 was that good though. That's just me. I played in his division. I don't know if you played against him one game. I played his division. He had one rookie season that was good, and that was it. I never was big on him. But when I watched Shedeur, he's like a real pro-style quarterback. He looks good to me.
But we're
gonna find out.
We have to.
We'll find out.
You just have to get a chance.
I'm curious, where does Shedeur rank to you in this generation of quarterbacks? Like, is he better than? So he's better than Manziel and Baker, and Whedon, and Colt, and Brady. Like, where does he rank in this generation of Q?
So,
because if he is that good, then of course he'll turn them around.
So the thing is, like, when you spit their names out there, you spit their names like them guys are like guys. Because they're really
in
not.
college, they were guys.
Listen, man, and then we have this argument all the time, right? When I look at Shedeur, I see a really good quarterback. I keep telling y'all, and everybody's good in college. So the Brady quiz, all them dudes, it depends where you go to school at. You go to Notre Dame, they're gonna hype you all the way up. Do they not? Y'all play this game, y'all know that. You go to freaking Notre Dame, they hype you up you all world.
If these guys can't do it, I just want to know, I know we got to tease, in your eyes, what makes Shedeur different than all these other guys that he's going to be successful in the NFL because none of these other guys did?
So I think, one, it helps that he didn't go to these powerful schools where they just hype you up. When you don't have to be that good, they hype you up. I think he's done it before where changing the franchise.
Two different ones.
He went to Jackson State. There wasn't much there. He changed that thing around. Then you go to Colorado. If you ask them to give him a scholarship to Colorado, most people are not going to go there.
Yeah, before Prime, they didn't want
They're not going to go there, okay? And I watched him change that whole thing around, right? Then I seen the type of dad he got. Now, I don't Prime personally, right? And I see the way that he's with the things he starts in his son. It's like all this negativity coming at his son about this, that, and third. None of it is about really on football. A lot of it's off the field, which he's never been in trouble. And you know what? He still finds a way to keep it positive.
Yeah.
You can't teach that. That's called heart.
So
everything I'm saying, I get all that, right? But I just think if anybody that can change it around when he gets the chance to, I think it could be him. Because them other guys, those are other guys. Those are other guys y'all talk about. They got some names because they went to big schools.
We will see. We will see. Shedeur become the guy, not another guy. Hey, when we return, the Chiefs, they have dominated the AFC West for a mighty long time. But is that coming to an end? That's next in the facility.
Lights, camera, innovation. Walt Disney Studios chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to transform the movie-making process. Together, we kept a remote production hub in Hawaii in sync with a team in California to bring Lilo and Stitch to theaters this summer. This is picture-perfect collaboration. This is Walt Disney Studios with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
You are now entering the No Bull Zone, sponsored by Credible. Great rates with none of the bull. The bull. Hey, the Chiefs, they will host the Broncos on Christmas next season. Just announced. Congratulations. Open up your present, Bo Nix. You get Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. The AFC West has been won 9 straight times by the Kansas City Chiefs. Absolutely dominant. But the Broncos are ascending. The Chargers are ascending. The AFC West is a competitive division. It has 3 Hall of Fame head coaches in it right now. And if Harbaugh wins the Super Bowl, it has 4 Hall of Fame head coaches in it. You got Sean Payton. You got Harbaugh. You got Carroll. You got Andy Reid. Shady, you won a Super Bowl in that division. Do you think the Chiefs' dominance in the West will come to an end?
I guess we just disagreeing all day today. No, what? I played with the Kansas City Chiefs. All they do was whoop on them. I remember my first year there, you get if you win the division, you get the shirts and the hats and all that. And I did that a couple times in Philadelphia, right? Man, they act like that was nothing. Okay, give me the shirt, put it all cool. They didn't care because they used to doing it. What are they, like 9 years in a row? What is it?
9 years.
Come on, man. And then we talk about the Hall of Fame coach. Them coaches can't touch Andy Reid. I love Sean Payton, though. That's my dog.
Yeah.
They can't touch Andy Reid at all. Yeah. So best quarterback in the division, the best coach in the division, best team in the division. What are you talking about? Andy Reid, look, I'm gonna text you. I ain't about to mess around with these people today. Not today, I ain't gonna do it.
Chiefs win the division.
Easy.
I don't think they 6-0 it. You know, obviously you got 6 divisional matchups. I don't think they 6-0 it. So that's what I would suggest. Like, Chiefs gonna win a division. I don't think the Chiefs go 16-5 1 or whatever the heck they did like last year.
15-2.
So will the Chiefs still win the division? Yes. Will it be the same bludgeoning we've seen in past? No, I think it's 4-2. I think they 4-2 the division. I could see the Broncos stealing a game, or I could see the Chargers and or the Raiders stealing a game. Chiefs win the division. Will they bludgeon the rest of the division? I don't think they'll bludgeon them, but they'll win.
They had an off year last year, Chase, and they were 16-1.
15-2, and they had an off year, Shady. They had an off year. Oh,
That's
my
crazy.
Lord. I think it's ridiculous to think the fact that their window of dominance is closing. And I listen to some of these, people say, oh, it's Chris Jones coming off injury. He's getting hurt. Oh, Travis Kelce, he's getting old. Do you understand how many times and how difficult it is to reimagine themselves? Because they've had really good offenses, and they've had really bad defenses, and they've won. They've had really bad offenses and really good defense. They just continue to find ways to reimagine themselves. What have Andy Reid and Mahomes done every season? Win. Okay, 7 seasons Mahomes at the realm, 5 Super Bowls, 7 straight AFC Championship games. They don't lose. I think we forgot, because they got smoked by the Eagles, that they were 15-2
now,
last season.
For the sake of time, let me interrupt you. Is it fair to say, though, that this is the best division the Chiefs have played in?
Because I think it's one of the best divisions in football.
But because what we often overlook in mentioning how great Andy Reid is, because I believe he is the greatest coach of all time, and how great Patrick Mahomes is, a top 3 quarterback of all time, we often overlook the Broncos were atrocious after Peyton Manning, like literally laughing stock. The Raiders had been run terribly for a while, had bad head coaching for a long time. Who else in that division? The Chargers, right? The Chargers prior to Justin Herbert were nothing, and even with Justin Herbert prior to getting Harbaugh. Is it now fair to say, though, that for the first time in Kansas City, you played for the Chiefs when Andy first got there, you played for Andy Reid and the Chiefs when you won a Super Bowl, this is the most competitive it's gotten, right? That's fair to say?
I don't think so.
I think it is.
I don't. I mean, since 2016, listen, their Chiefs are 112 and 36
I
losses.
knew you had that. In the division?
Hey, this ain't no competition. This ain't no rivalry. Listen, respectfully, the Broncos don't scare me. They don't scare me.
Sean Payton could, though.
I mean, I don't.
Well,
he don't. No, I think he's a really good coach, right?
Pete Carroll don't scare you, Sean Payton?
Pete Carroll.
No, the Raiders.
Pete Carroll ain't been good in years. Pete Carroll ain't been good in years.
Raiders don't.
Don't let the name fool you. I'm not even gonna talk about the Raiders. That's a waste of time. But I'm gonna get back to the Broncos. Real quick, with the Broncos, I don't believe in the Bo Nix yet. I think he's a good quarterback.
Fair.
He don't scare me. And you're not gonna win with just. Like last year, they had some scares, but people forget this.
Yeah.
The Chiefs had a lot of injuries, man. They still was winning.
Yeah.
We're going to see this year, though. They're going to put them in their place again. You know what I'm saying? They don't need no field goal misses and all that.
The Broncos are the team that scares me in this division.
Hey,
Why they scare you? 'Cause the coach?
Speaking of scary, the Eagles got a scary matchup actually on my birthday.
Scary.
November 10th, Monday, primetime, Eagles-Packers. Packers, that game just got announced. Are they a threat to the Eagles? That's that. April 1st?
Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
The Packers host the Eagles. Primetime, November 10th. Remember, a playoff rematch. You could suggest the Packers played the Eagles closest of any team in the whole NFL last year. They played them in Brazil, close game. Played them in the playoffs, 12-point game. It's a great matchup. Now the Packers, they've retooled and tried to reload that offense, adding a wide receiver, Matthew Golden, in the first round. Shady, are the Packers a legit threat to the Eagles in the NFC?
No.
Oh, there it is.
I told myself that I'm not going to get crazy before the season starts. How? They're about to lose one of their best cornerbacks, right? And Jair Alexander. And then you get a rookie wide receiver that's going to make a difference? Y'all know what's going on. Y'all not seen the games. Y'all talking about it was a competition in the playoffs. We played our worst game, and they still lost. I ain't playing with the Packers, man. Come on, ain't no. Come on, man. Seriously.
Packers are one of
knock it off.
They're one of 3 threats. They're one of 3 threats. Commanders a threat, Packers a threat, Rams a threat.
I like the Rams.
Yeah, those are, I believe, the only 3 legitimate threats.
Who's in last place though? Out of that, you would probably say the Rams is number 1, or you say the
Commanders. Yeah, I'd probably say the Packers. Here's what's interesting about the Packers. I'll say it very quickly. The Packers are a team that you can't really use your offseason training for. The Packers have an ability to play a unique style of football. They can come out in 10 personnel. That's 4 wide receivers, 1 running back, no tight end. And not any other team, I believe, can come out in that personnel group that the Eagles just don't have a lot of preparation for. Right now, OTAs and minicamp, you're playing all of your base defenses, all of your base packages that will work against 95% of the league. But the Packers are that 5% that can play a brand of football that the Eagles can't prepare for and only have 3 to 4 days to prepare for. That's why I would say they're one of 3 threats to the Eagles.
I think that they are not a threat to the Eagles, but I think they're a threat to the rest of the NFC. The Eagles are just too good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing about the Eagles is they're built like a super team because of Howie. They play a brand of football that no one really wants to play in the trenches. And they were extremely healthy last season.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the best running back in football that had the best season in the history of the game. It's just really hard to compete. But when you go to the Packers side, I think the Packers will take a step forward so long as Jordan Love can stay healthy. If Jordan Love stays healthy, that these Packers can win multiple playoff games because they've shown they can get to the playoffs.
But Packers are strongest where the Eagles are weakest. We would all agree there.
They match up well. They play them well.
Secondary?
Secondary, Eagles are weakest, and the Packers
Them
are
young boys, they're going to be better. Look how good they played last year. They're going to be better this year.
But we got a question mark at corner replacing Slay. You know what I mean? And then the Eagles pass rush without Brandon Graham, without Josh Sweat.
And Nacho, just to remind you, you had the same question mark before the year started. You said, oh, man, these rookie corners, what they going to do? That was a big question mark for you, right? Did they answer it? They're going to be better even this year. All I say is this. We got the better offense, better defense, better quarterback, and better running back. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what's going on. I'll wait.
Hey, well, speaking of waiting, we're all waiting to see which rookie quarterback is going to do best this year.
Look at that boy.
Hey, how about Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, first-round pick? Who is in the best spot to have success?
Hey, look, man, I know one thing. There's only one quarterback we're hearing about in that draft class.
BTW, FYI. Visit Nexplanon.com RN to learn about Nexplanon. It's an adjustable implant, 68 milligrams radiopaque. Or ask your HCP IRL. Okay, TTYL.
The NFL draft has come and gone, but the rookies are just now showing up. Cam Ward in Tennessee, Jackson Dart starring, hopefully in the future, of New York. Shedeur Sanders, obviously, in Cleveland. Hey, Chase, let me ask you, which rookie quarterback is in the best situation?
None of those guys. Jalen Milroe.
Really?
I like it. He doesn't need to play right away, so there's no pressure on him to go out there and learn the playbook, all of it. He's going to have select packages for him to go and show his athletic ability running the football. He's with Clint Kubiak, who is a master at offenses, learned under Shanahan, who can learn and develop under. And Sam Darnold has a 1-year contract for all intents and purposes. I think it's like a $32 million contract. So if Sam Darnold doesn't go, they don't need to draft a quarterback next year if Jalen Milroe can do it because they can build an offense around Jalen Milroe. So I really like the situation that Jalen Milroe is in right now.
Man, I don't like any of them situations, honestly. If I had to say one, I'll say Jackson Dart. For similar reasons, Chase. He doesn't have to go play right away, like Jalen Milroe. Doesn't have to go play right away because of Russell Wilson. When you do get in that game, the expectations aren't incredibly high. You weren't a top 5 pick. You weren't a top 10 pick. You're the 25th overall pick. And then most importantly, they haven't committed a lot to Russell Wilson. They haven't committed a lot to Jameis Winston. So very similar reasons to why Chase suggested Jalen Milroe. I would suggest this Jackson Dart.
All right. Man, that's tough, man.
I like it.
When Milroe, I ain't even going. I'm going to go Tyler Shuck. I'm going to go with him. You know why? Because as I look at, if you tell me that Derek Carr just retires, right, and they draft me in the second round, and I'm going up against a quarterback that didn't do really well last year, and now you give me a chance to start, and then you look at the offensive weapons he got, like, he got some players over there. Wide receiver core is nice. You got Olave, who's like that. And then Brandon Cooks, I know he didn't do well with the Cowboys, but most number 2s don't do well with that. Yep. You go there to the Saints, you got a chance, and then your running back, Alvin Kamara.
Winnable division, too.
So, and your division is terrible. The best quarterback in the, who was it, Baker Mayfield? Come on, you can't beat that. So I just feel like
I like it.
he has the best chance to really succeed.
This will be a very.
But the next year, though. Hold up. But the next year, though. There's one dude in there, though. He wears a 1 and a 2.
Arch Manning.
Shedeur Sanders.
Oh.
Dylan Gabriel? Oh, he might not make the team.
Hey, when we return, it's time for a Blitz meeting. What a show we've had. In case y'all missed Rachel Nichols earlier, she was absolutely excellent. Hey, who's in a better situation? The Mavericks, now that they got Cooper Flagg, or the Lakers? They still have Luka Doncic. So much to talk about. That's next, the facility.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing, it's precision-crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision-crafted performance.
Take your vibes on go, 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 go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Hey, it's time for a Blitz meeting. Hey, the Commanders, they will host Super Bowl champ Eagles Week 16 on Fox. Rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Shady asking you, should the Eagles fear the Commanders?
Super Bowl champ. Oh, my bad. No. I mean, come on, man. Who are they? We beat them what? We put 55 points on them?
Yeah,
Wait, real quick. We put 55 points on them in the playoffs, and we give them like a good year.
That was last year.
Like, we pat on the back. Yo, you guys did good. You got beat by 55, but you did good. Did good, guys. Come on. Come on.
Fear is a hard word. I got to say no. You can't fear him. First off, Jaden Daniels, sophomore slump sort of thing for a reason.
Oh, no, he's nice.
But we also have to assume that he's not going to sophomore slump. That's not I didn't say he's going to get hurt. I just said, like, he's going to be human. With all due respect, that's what happens to humans. CJ Stroud didn't.
I mean, you still won 10 games.
That's true.
Come on, sophomore slump. I think as long as Jaden Daniels is the quarterback for the Commanders, it's going to be a long time. Jaden's like that. And I think if you have a quarterback and you can eventually get some pieces, I do think because they are the second best team in the NFC, Eagles have to fear somebody. I know they almost got beat by the Rams. I went, yeah.
Fair God.
That's it. Hey, Cooper Flagg is likely, well, he's going to be a Dallas Maverick next year. The Mavericks, they took the #1 overall pick. Less than a 2% chance, listeners. They had a 1.8 chance of winning the lottery, and they did it. Who's in the better situation right now, though? Luka Doncic having left the Mavericks and being in L.A., or the Dallas Mavericks? The Lakers or the Mavs?
Bro. I've been playing the real lottery since I've been 15 years old. I still ain't win. And they win the next year? That Luka, the same year Luka leaves? Okay. Anyway, I'm going with the Lakers because Cooper Flagg is really, really good. He ain't no Luka Don. He ain't the Don.
Where you at, Chase?
I'm an MFFL, Master for Life, but I got to go Lakers. Luka's top 3 player in the NBA. I mean, they're set up for success. Keyword here, right now, it's got to be the Lakers. I don't know if the Mavs are going to be good next year.
I'll say the Mavs, but I'll say the Mavs because I know what the Lakers are. I know who the Lakers are. I know what the Lakers are capable of. When you have the #1 overall pick, remember, that's a very flexible thing you can do. Right now, people are speculating, might the Mavs try to deal that and try to acquire Giannis? All of a sudden, if the Mavericks have Giannis and have AD, Kyrie comes back from injury, all of a sudden, the Mavericks look way different. I don't know who the Mavericks are. I know exactly who the Lakers are.
Nah, he's right. I felt like that. Because I remember I told Howie, I want to get Trent Williams on my other side. I want Jason Pierce. But that's come on, man. That ain't going to happen. I want Aaron Rodgers to be on quarterback. That ain't going to happen, man.
You did get Lane Johnson, and you did get...
And I want Calvin Johnson on the right side, and Deshaun Jackson left side. It ain't going to happen, bro.
Mavericks fans, they got
all right, the Thunder, they host the Nuggets tonight. It is a huge Game 5, but Nikola Jokic has been really atrocious by his standards. He's been in a shooting slump, below 40%, 3 consecutive games. I don't know if he's done that all year long. Shady, is all the pressure on the Joker tonight?
Absolutely. 3-time MVP? Come on, I got to see it, because one MVP that's not even won yet is outdoing you. We need to see it.
Yeah.
We need to see it now.
I mean, absolutely. Like, Jokic is getting a pass because he's the Joker. He's getting a pass just because he never gets criticized. But if we're being honest, he has been terrible for his standards.
I'm messing up the sweep. I'm saying no. I think it's on SGA because the series is tied at 2-2.
Yep.
Game 5 OKC. If Joker goes in and gets the game, right? I think that SGA, if they close them out right now, they can get another one. I don't think I just think
it's going to be very hard if the Nuggets win this one for the Thunder, I believe, to go back and win two, especially.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We've seen a ton of buzzer beaters in this playoffs, these dominant performances thus far. My favorite question, Shady, who's been the best player in the playoffs?
What are you doing?
Jalen Brunson. Oh. New York City, stand up, baby. Number 11. You know what it is. He be like, hey. He chases height and they are ball like that. You mean your height? Come on, man. You know who's taller here. You know you little.
I'm going with Tyrese Halliburton, actually. I'm going with Tyrese. 2-game winners, big dog.
He can't.
Look at this.
He can't even.
You're a little taller.
Yo, he can't even touch him, dog.
I got Brunson, too.
Did you not see what he did to Giannis?
Halliburton against.
They're up 3-1 on the Cavs.
Yo, and they playing the Celtics.
On the one
Y'all boys is crazy. Yo, you're little, man.